Yeah.
What was your greatest insight or the thing that surprised you or something that like you're like, oh wow, huh, that I didn't expect, or I'm really glad that I said it, or whatever it is, or like what was something in the story that you just shared, um, that felt fresh to you or meaningful?
I'm glad that I said that I wanted the move too, so that I could fly. And leading on then into acknowledging that the insight was that I wanted something that I still haven't got. That what, and I hadn't realized that there until now, that there was a vision, there was something, even if I hadn't written it down and it was super clear to me, this is it. There was something diffuse, a feeling, a way of living and being that I was dreaming that I haven't managed to achieve yet. And that could also, that insight of linking it to, is that why I feel that burnout is still there? And then just from the last thing you said, that it isn't maybe about recovery. It's maybe not about coming out the other side. That there isn't maybe a beginning or end, because there's a beginning and end to life. But what happens to us in life, there isn't really a beginning and end. It's just a continuum. And perhaps freeing myself from that as well, that there is an end and therefore I can let go. It is it is it's almost like that burnout has become another layer of my complexity and will be that part of me. And as much as other values, experiences, everything else, is makes us complex as people. It's not something to park, to package, to put over there as, well, that's my story. It's and that kind of feels also sad to say that, because I guess there's a feeling that I would really like to just fix it, solve it. It's like the things that people say is like, oh, you can burn out again, and people say that it goes quicker next time. These things, it's like they come up as demons in my head as well. And it's like that somehow in what I was just saying, although it's bringing up tears and a feeling of sadness in me, that maybe there's something in that though that actually is quite powerful, that there's a level of acceptance of that being actually part of me and who I am. And how, where that sits in me, or how that sort of, I don't know right now. I don't.
Yeah, don't like. Yeah, I think this is don't get to that. Like
Yeah.
we're in the awareness part, and like I said, I don't have any real destination here other than to give you a chance to see this with different perspectives, right? Uh, and part of the thing that comes up through this is that we're excavating and giving you different levels of awareness around this, so you can see it, take it out of the blind spot, and give you a chance to see it, so that when you're out in the world and you find yourself either wanting to create or not creating, or feeling that something's holding you back, or feeling that like something like something's off, you have more that you can look at and be able to identify and say, oh, here it is. This is like the, you have more of those resources available to you in your own toolkit. And look, there's an element of this that, you know I'm going to ask that we hold it open to, this could be you. It could be a part of you. It could have been you for a time, whatever it is. When you talk right now, you remind me of when I meet people and I'm like, I'm a recovering people pleaser. I'm a recovering people pleaser. I'm not a recovered people pleaser. Every single day, I have to go out in the world and make sure that, like, today, I'm going to show up real. Today, I'm going to show up honest. In this conversation, I'm going to do it. The first like 20 minutes of this conversation, when we're setting up the conversation here, I'm like, someone's going to watch this and be like, why didn't he just jump in? Like, what, like, like, and there was probably part of the reason why when things came up around the definitions at the very beginning, I ended up like stating what I stated, where I'm like, let's not worry about other people. I'm a recovering people pleaser. It is the basis of the business that I have. It is like, and I recognize it because and as such, I use that now to go out into the world and help people like own who they are, while I'm also working in real time on my own people pleasing. Like, this is like, and I have, and there are levels that I have that keep showing up with it. There are levels where I've gotten above it and I'm like, cool, got it, nailed it, like totally got the people pleasing thing down. And then I'll step into a higher level. And when I get to that next level, it'll show up again. I'm now doing the World Joy movement. There will be some people pleasing that shows up. And I don't know how it's going to show up, but it's going to be something where maybe it starts out as collaboration and then it turns into something more insidious or less me. I don't know, but like from what I have experienced, part of my journey on this earth is to be in the state of recovery around that and continue to consistently own more of who I am. When I say that there, what, if anything, comes up for you?
No, that was lovely. I've heard you say this before as well. I'm recovering people pleaser. And then thinking, wow, that's a great way of, I am a recovering hyperachiever, or came up in my head, because that was, I think, that's what drove me.
I like how it's hyperachiever, not just high achiever. Like, it has its own space. It's like there's something that's there.
Oh yeah. It was over. It was too much, and so that kind of was like, oh right, because you see, then that I was thinking while you were saying that, I'm like, oh right, because then that means the answer to the question that you asked me, what if, or when do I know that I'm good, that I've got this, and it's like, and I said, like, well, maybe never, because that's life. And then realizing that's part of being the recovering part of it, is that is my dark side, and that is there, and that's part of me. And to redefine it like that's actually really interesting. Yeah.
Continue to allow it to like expand. Like, this is why we're playing the game this way, right? Nothing we're saying is absolute truth, but for you to be able to have access to that as a potential way of being, as a potential way of being in there. And I think about you, I think about your clients. I think like we've had conversations around how you've given in spaces, and then like, and like, it's like, wait a minute, there are things there are actions that you take to and like to mitigate against one element of the other. And it's like, I'm glad that you put this down here. I'm glad that this is now a part of our relationship here, because it gives us a chance to be able to see, okay, what additional tools can I take on my journey of being a hyperachiever? Look, here's the thing. I'm a recovering people pleaser, but like, one of the things that's big for me is like, I just realized that I wasn't pleasing people at a high enough level, right? I'm still a people pleaser. I just do it like much, much better, with much more impact, with much more like sustainability. Like it's like I can see your smile right. I'm like, I'm gonna serve you so powerfully, you'll never forget this conversation for the rest of your life. And you're gonna want to come back again, you know? But this time I'm not gonna do it because I think that this was gonna make you feel good, or like, actually, let's not go there because it's gonna, no. I'm going to like carve out the path for us to go exactly to the places that we wouldn't normally be able to go. And I'm going to say the things that are uncomfortable for me. And in this conversation, it was not saying anything, and just letting it out. Like, the people pleaser in me would have been like, mm-hmm, oh yeah, uh-huh. Yeah. Silence. Nothing on my face. Like you share what you need to share. There's no judgment at all. There's no reaction at all. If I'm going to be a people pleaser, let me people please at a much higher level. And I'm hearing like you're a hyperachiever. And at some point, like this, like the elements of this of like, watch out, like it can come back again. It's like I'm hearing your story. It's like, you saw this coming. It wasn't a surprise that you woke up one day and you're like, oh, you saw it coming. You saw it happening. You felt it happening. You felt yourself crying in the office. You saw this happening. You like, and you're like pushing it away. I got to take care of this. Like, you knew all the right buttons to push so that you would just keep moving forward. You just actively ignored or pushed it out. Yeah. It was never like, it was never like it snuck up on you, ever. Am I getting that right?
You are so right. It's absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can have like hundreds of memories of coming up in my head now of times when I literally pushed it away.
Yeah. For you, depending on what you want to do with your business and depending on like where you want people to go, like, there's a message that you yourself, like, your story here, I get goosebumps thinking about it again. It is incredibly captivating because it's so real. It is so real. Like, how many hyperachievers out there are caring for their family? They're powerhouse women, they're powerhouse people, and they're just doing whatever it takes, thinking that that's what's going to get them there. And then at the end of it, you get to the end, you get what you did it, you think you got it all, and then you think to yourself, I think I failed them.
Yeah.
Sometimes we hear these stories and they're talking about, what is it? If you climb the ladder of success only to find out it's on the wrong wall.
Yeah.
Like, you have your own version of this. You have your own version of like, I was pushing through. I ignored everything because I'm like, this is what's best for them. And then you got to the end, you're like, I don't even know, like, if it was worth it at all.
Yeah. I can have that thought. Absolutely.
It's the World Joy Movement. Yeah. What was your greatest insight from this conversation? And if you want to come and be a part of a conversation like this live, it's really simple. Just go to beworldjoy.com and come introduce yourself, and let's take the conversation to the next level, because you're there now. All right, let's play.